City Council moves ahead with a new shelter location. Why not everyone in the neighborhood is on board with the idea? Saskatchewan children living in poverty, the struggles thousands of families are facing to feed and clothe their kids. And speeding in school zones, why Saskatoon is seeing a spike in drivers with a lead foot.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight at City Hall. Council has approved the purchase of a permanent drop-in center for the second time in less than 4 months. As Keenan Sorokon reports, councillors pushed ahead with the purchase as they faced a major deadline despite concerns from businesses.
The city is buying this building on Idlewild Drive for $1.6 million to become a permanent drop-in center 24 hours a day, every day of the year. Council heard concerns about the tight timelines and the impact on businesses in the area, something they've already dealt with when the drop-in center was temporarily blocks away next to a shelter on Pacific Avenue.
The fear is real, and as a business owner, I pay. The repairs, the cleanup, the insurance, the time, the disruption, the stress, it all adds up, and it's exhausting. Council
also learned there is a daycare set to open this spring, steps away from the shelter, with 90 children using the space after more than $1 million was put into the building.
I just think it's irresponsible. You know, you come in at the 10th hour and you say this is it, all or nothing. I mean, I really feel for the counselors. They're put in a position again.
Dr. Christine Wilkinson of Prairie Optometry 2 doors down bought her building alongside her husband last year after carefully looking at the city's vision for Idlewild and the downtown. She says they never would have considered buying the building or spending the hundreds of thousands of dollars on upkeep if a drop-in center was moving next door.
It raises broader concerns about protecting downtown's long-term fiscal strength and maintaining confidence in the plans that are communicated to us as investors.
In October, Council bought this building on Avenue C to be the permanent drop-in center, but concerns about concentrating services next door to the Salvation Army kept staff searching until the Idlewild building was found, which has been on the market for much of the last few years. Some councillors were concerned about the high traffic area, while others were concerned about a March 31st deadline to spend federal funding.
These conversations make these things feel very rushed. And these individual decisions are.
The city will move in and begin renovations this spring and hopes to have one half of the building ready as a drop-in center by November. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A new report is shedding light on child poverty in Canada, and it shows Saskatchewan has the highest rate of any province in the country. CTV's Laura Woodward takes a closer look at the numbers.
From clothing to after-school activities, father of two, Chris Moya, says he's seeing costs get out of control.
Groceries, even that too, Pampers, all that stuff, it really adds up.
A new report from the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives is putting a spotlight on child poverty.
Saskatchewan has the highest child poverty rate of any province in the country.
According to the data, more than 78,000 Saskatchewan kids, about 27%, were living in poverty in 2023. The poverty rate is higher for children under 6, and nearly half of kids in single-parent families are living below the poverty line.
There's extreme variability of poverty within the province.
Child poverty rates are highest in northern Saskatchewan, followed
I apologize, we're having some technical issues there. Saskatoon is seeing a sharp increase in drivers speeding through school zones. That's according to an annual traffic report from the Saskatoon Police Service. CTV's Stacey Hine has more on the reasons driving up the infractions.
Hundreds of drivers pass through school zones each day. Nearly 40,000 of them caught by speed cameras last year, almost 7 times the total violations in 2020.
It is concerning that we are seeing an increase in those speed tickets that are being issued out.
SGI says some drivers were clocked at 70 kilometers an hour, more than double the posted school zone speed limit.
The cameras are in the school zones, to protect some of the most vulnerable of our road users, school kids. We know know that speed kills.
SGI says one camera rotates through 4 school zones in the city, including St. Michael Community School on 33rd Street, which it says records the most violations.
Our goal is to have these cameras there to reduce or encourage people to reduce the speed.
School zone speeding accounted for most of the increase in citywide speed camera violations, which more than doubled to nearly 65,000 last year, up from roughly 31,000 in 2020. While photo radar violations along Circle Drive largely remained unchanged over the years. Violations also nearly doubled from 2022 to 2023, the first full year after City Council extended school zone hours from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. year-round. Police say part of the increase in violations reflects a growing number of vehicles on the road as the city's population rises, adding that tickets are meant to change behavior.
It also generates those conversations for those that are receiving those tickets with friends and families, because as we know, people like to talk about tickets.
Police and SGI say the message is simple: slow down in school zones. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Saskatoon RCMP have charged 2 Edmonton men following a traffic stop along Highway 16. This is what officers seized on Friday when they pulled over a vehicle that breached equipment regulations near Wynyard. Upon further inspection, police found a bag with almost 5 kilograms of meth and about 4 kilograms of fentanyl. The 2 men in the vehicle are charged with drug and drug trafficking offenses. They are scheduled to be in Yorkton Provincial Court tomorrow. A youth charged in the deaths of 4 people in southern Saskatchewan entered a plea in court today, and as Jacob Carr reports, proceedings had to be moved to another room to accommodate those who came to watch.
One of the 4 co-accused in a quadruple homicide on Carry the Kettle, Nakota Nation in 2025 has entered a guilty plea to 4 counts of manslaughter here at Provincial Court. The now 16-year-old, whose identity is protected by the Youth Criminal Justice Act, is one of 4 people charged in the February 2025 quadruple homicide of Tracy Hodamani, Sheldon Kwewizants, Shauna Faye, and Terry Jack at a home on Carry the Kettle. Many friends and family of the victims were on hand to watch the proceedings, so much so that Judge James Corpin decided to move to a bigger courtroom, saying, quote, "Anyone who wants to view these proceedings should be able to." The youth who pleaded guilty was 15 at the time of the crimes. He was among the first people charged after being arrested on February 18th of 2025, along with 18-year-old Darius Reset. Both were originally charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. A third suspect, also a youth who cannot be identified, was arrested on December 10th of 2025 and also charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. He is set to appear in provincial court on March 27th. That youth is also facing 1 count of attempted murder stemming from an altercation between the accused and a 5th person at the home where the killings occurred. On February 5th of this year, a 4th person was charged in connection to the homicides. Lauren Elvis Hodamani is facing 1 count of accessory after the fact to murder. At the end of the day's proceedings, Justice Corpin accepted the guilty plea. Sentencing is scheduled for Friday, April 24th. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Jeff, there's a whole lot of melting going out there today.
And there'll be more on the way for tomorrow, and then it will stop because things are getting a lot colder. But yes, it is going to be quite warm right across the province, and we will see a lot of melting going on. Still a possibility of some flurries. We do have a couple of systems sort of sliding through. This first one came through earlier today, and the second one is sort of following up. And then a cold front's going to sag down, and we're going to start to feel more of that cold Arctic air as we head into the weekend, and we'll talk about that later on.
With yesterday marking 4 years since Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine, volunteers from around the world continue to play a critical role in helping Ukrainians protect and rebuild their homeland. As Carla Shinkaruk found out, one man from Saskatoon has taken that commitment the distance.
So I spent a day helping with that.
Nick Benton has traveled to Ukraine twice since the war began, paying his own way each time.
I decided I wanted to do this, just felt this was something I wanted to go do.
He had never been to the country before and doesn't speak the language.
I just started Googling And I ended up on a website, volunteeringukraine.com, lots of resources there.
When he first arrived, he didn't know exactly how he would help. He just knew he had to. Benton connected with the volunteer group K of Bats.
I was working on drone and impact sites. We were going to villages outside of Kyiv, and we were working on buildings that were damaged during the initial push by Russia.
He's helped board up shattered windows so families can stay in their homes. He's recovered keepsakes and tied camouflage netting for defenders.
My whole reality before it's over.
This is 17-year-old Yeva Shevchenko. She helps run K of Bats. She balances university with coordinating volunteers at blast sites. She says international support makes a real difference.
A random international person chooses to leave the safety of their home to come here and to do something and help us. It's amazing.
She says the need for volunteers in Ukraine remains urgent as civilians like her work for their freedom.
In these extreme conditions, I mean, we do it because we're Ukrainians, but it's still a challenge.
K of Bats also offers English lessons for frontline defenders, helping them build skills for careers after the war. Each trip costs Benton about $5,000, but he says the need on the ground far outweighs the cost.
Suddenly people from Canada, Finland, Hong Kong, Australia, and they're all coming here. And so everyone's just shocked about the worldwide support.
He's not concerned for his safety and plans to return to Ukraine this summer. Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Premier Scott Moe and Prime Minister Mark Carney are headed to India with the goal of strengthening a long-time trade relationship. It comes a month after the two were in China to discuss how tariffs were impacting Saskatchewan. Mick Favel reports.
Scott Moe is set for a trade mission to India. For the second time this year, Moe is joining Prime Minister Mark Carney on the trade trip, looking to strengthen trade opportunities and promote Saskatchewan food and exports.
With $18 billion in exports to India since 2007, this market very much is a crucial one for our province, and there are opportunities to grow this market for years into the future, further diversifying our trade.
Last October, India imposed a 30% tariff on Canadian yellow peas. And while a full removal may not be in the cards on this trip, the Premier is hopeful talks can open the door to that discussion in the future.
I would hope that we're able to have conversations that would exempt or not have that tariff increased on the products that we're currently exporting to India, so that we could, on future engagements, actually look at having those tariffs removed.
Uranium, potash, and agriculture commodities make up the bulk of Saskatchewan's exports to India. Saskatchewan's NDP opposition is in support of diversifying the province's markets.
The past year has shown us anything that's absolutely necessary. It's necessary for that continued predictable and stable revenue. We always want to see, a deepening of those relationships that benefit the people of this province.
Trade relationships like this strengthen Saskatchewan's economic prosperity, which is why we continue to focus our efforts on that very market diversification. That has been the goal and the focus of this provincial government for in excess of a decade now, and remains our goal into the future.
Moe added the trip will be crucial for building a better trade relationship between Canada and India, even if the yellow pea tariffs remain in place for the time being. The mission will run from February 28th to March 6th. Mick Favel, CTV News, Regina.
The Prince Albert Raiders have their sights set on a conference title. Jasmine Peltier on how a week between games is helping them prep to face Penticton this week.
The Prince Albert Raiders continue to skate away and are ranked second in Canada, trailing the Everett Silvertips, who have held on to the #1 spot for 4 consecutive weeks. Following a 4-1 win over the Swift Current Broncos last week, the Raiders clinched the East Division title for their second year running.
Our focus is on the conference now and trying to get that one done and keep getting points in every games. Just continuing to build on our game. And we had a good week of practice here to build for the weekend.
They won't face another team again until Friday.
It's been nice. We had some community events and stuff this week, and we're able to get out and did a kids skate there last night. So that's been really good to kind of get away from the rink a little bit and see some different things and just continue to build.
This weekend, the Prince Albert team will face Penticton and Prince George.
We haven't played Penticton ever, so obviously they're new season, inaugural season this year, and so that's going to be fun. And then Prince George is also at the top of the other conference, so 2 big games, and just looking forward to playing a new team and showing them what we got.
Defenseman Daxon Rudolph has another recent accomplishment. The Raiders' all-time leader for power play goals by a defenseman.
Definitely not something I was looking forward to in the summertime, but as I was getting closer and closer, it kind of became more of a topic of conversation, and obviously getting recognized and passing Josh Morrissey for that is pretty cool. So like I said, as I got closer and closer, I wanted to pass it. Fortunate enough, I got to.
The Raiders will be back in action with back-to-back home games Friday and Saturday. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
As Saskatchewan prepares for Telemiracle 50, many are reflecting on the history and progress of the show, which made its debut in 1977. Hallie Mandrick has the story.
This was Telemiracle 3 in 1979, a time Ron Barry remembers fondly. That's the year he took on the role of Telemiracle chair. At the time, he never imagined he would witness the telethon continue for 5 decades.
Nobody imagined when we started that it would ever last this long, but it's just, people bought in province-wide, and they bought in till now. So it's magic and it's great.
47 years later, Barry watched as a flag was raised at Saskatoon City Hall in honor of Telemiracle 50, set for this weekend.
It's very special that we still have some of our legacy founders with us to come and celebrate. It means a lot to us and to them.
Blackwell says this golden anniversary has many people reflecting on what's kept Telemiracle going for so long.
Everyone is taking a piece of the pie and the shared collective responsibility, and I believe that that's ultimately what's led us to being here to celebrate 50 years, is because Saskatchewan has built and embraced and loved this thing for 49 years.
Barry says the show has come a long way in 5 decades, recalling how the team traveled to research other telethons.
We went to telethons in Edmonton and Winnipeg just to see how they operated, and learned a lot about it, and it hasn't stopped. It's probably the biggest telethon in North America now.
Telemiracle 50 is set to kick off on Saturday at 7 p.m., running all the way through until Sunday at 5. If you're in Saskatoon, you can come on down to Prairieland Park and watch it in person, or you can either catch a live stream on the Telemiracle website or watch it right here on CTV. Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
SIGA Rewards has been named the presenting sponsor of Saskatoon's newest music festival. Jelly Roll is set to headline Outskirts Music Festival on June 26th. The one-day outdoor music festival is being held on the grounds of SaskTel Centre. Third Eye Blind, Cooper Allen, Wide Mouth Mason, and Braden King are also part of the lineup. As part of the sponsorship, SIGA Rewards will be giving fans who purchase their tickets between today and March 4th a $60 credit to play the slots at any SIGA casino. Tickets for Outskirts Music Festival are on sale now. Meanwhile, the Children's Festival of Saskatchewan has announced it will return this year, but is still searching for a title sponsor. The festival will return to Kinsman Park June 4th to 7th, featuring theater performances, music, storytelling, and interactive play. The festival says for the first time in years it does not have a presenting sponsor and is encouraging organizations interested to step forward. Nutrien had been the title sponsor for the last few years. The company says it concluded its sponsorship of the Children's Festival after fulfilling its agreement. Still to come, the questions being asked of OpenAI in the wake of the Tumbler Ridge shooting. Also, how Canada is attempting to help Cuba. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us tonight. Back to one of our top stories about a new report shedding light on child poverty in Canada, showing Saskatchewan has the highest rate of any province in the country. CTV's Laura Woodward takes a closer look.
From clothing to after-school activities, father of two, Chris Moya, says he's seeing costs get out of control.
Groceries, even that too, Pampers, all that stuff, it really adds up.
A new report from the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives is putting a spotlight on child poverty.
Saskatchewan has the highest child poverty rate of any province in the country.
According to the data, more than 78,000 Saskatchewan kids, about 27%, were living in poverty in 2023. The poverty rate is higher for children under 6, and nearly half of kids in single-parent families are living below the poverty line.
There's extreme variability of poverty within the province.
Child poverty rates are highest in northern Saskatchewan, followed by the Prince Albert and Yorkton regions. The NDP is calling on the provincial government to provide cost of living relief for Saskatchewan parents like Moya, including removing PST on children's clothing and introducing rent control.
Having 78,000 children in Saskatchewan living in poverty, no one in this room or anywhere in the province should be okay with being last in the country.
CTV News has reached out to the province but did not hear back by deadline. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Canada's Minister of AI speaking out today about his disappointment after meeting with OpenAI over the Tumbler Ridge shooting killings. Staff at the big tech company flagged concerns about the shooter's posts, but didn't tell police until it was too late. CTV's Judy Trin looks into the legislative safeguards needed and how they would work.
4 cabinet ministers responsible for artificial intelligence, justice, public safety, and Canadian culture met with OpenAI officials behind closed doors for 1 hour.
We're here and we're very grateful for the ministers for inviting us to be here. This is serious and we're going to be in touch. We're going to give a briefing to the ministers.
The ministers did not get an answer to their question about safety thresholds.
And we are disappointed that they did not provide any concrete proposal.
7 months before the tragedy in Tumbler Ridge, shooter Jesse Van Rootselaar's use of ChatGPT was flagged internally for abuse and enforcement. She was banned from the platform. But OpenAI did not alert police until after the rampage.
A course of failure occurred here.
We need to trust their behavior, not their reputation. The reality here is we need to see concrete measures that are going to be put forward.
The global leaders in clean technology, artificial intelligence, life sciences.
Since he took office, the Prime Minister has actively promoted AI investment to spur trade. Mark Carney is also signaling he wants results.
Obviously, anything that anyone could have done to prevent that tragedy or future tragedies must be done. We will fully explore it to the full lengths of law and will be very transparent about that process.
The government is currently working on several bills to regulate online harm. Some have been in progress for years.
I am very concerned about the government's capacity and willingness to address artificial intelligence policy writ large.
Although cabinet ministers described their meeting with OpenAI as disappointing, they noted that the tech officials said they would return at a later date, hopefully with answers. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Cuba continues to grapple with ongoing power outages, food and water shortages, thanks to a U.S. blockade of fuel to the island nation. In the midst of this, Canada is now sending millions of dollars in aid. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
At Cubano Kings in downtown Toronto, the menu is simple but authentic.
How you doing, buddy?
Cafecitos, Cubanos, Pastelitos. Canada has been Felix King Risco's home for 2 decades, but his heart is still in Havana with his family.
They're not doing so great.
His mother, aunts, and cousins all still live in Cuba, where electricity is limited, food is expensive, and gas is scarce.
6 o'clock, there's nobody on the street. People are afraid of getting mugged. People are afraid of getting robbed, all the staff.
Since January, the United States has blocked all oil from entering Cuba, trying to squeeze the Cuban government and force a regime change. But the blockade has quickly led to rapidly deteriorating conditions across the country. Today, Canada announced $8 million in aid to Cuba to be delivered through the World Food Program and UNICEF.
And Cuba is going to need massive assistance of various sorts, and food, I think, is going to be a big one. So $8 million worth of food won't go all that far for a population of about 10 million.
It's a balancing act for Ottawa as it tries to provide aid that goes directly to Cubans and not the Cuban regime, while also not inflaming tensions with the United States, which has vowed to place tariffs on any country that sends oil to the island nation.
I have not discussed Canadian aid intentions with Secretary Rubio or the United States. This is Canadian foreign policy.
For Felix King-Risco, he says his country has been through many challenging times, but this one feels different.
Something needs to change.
Global Affairs Canada says this money will be released immediately, adding they continue to monitor the situation in Cuba and will respond accordingly in the future. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
More confusion over Donald Trump's tariff talk. Last night during his State of the Union address, the U.S. president signaled he won't back down on tariffs. He didn't mention Canada by name. But as Mike Lukacher reports, today, Trump's trade representative singled out our country, saying any deal will include tariffs.
The State of the Union address?
Prime Minister Mark Carney says he didn't watch the State of the Union address, but there are impacts for Canada. President Trump made it clear tariffs are a key plank in his economic plan for the U.S.
The view of the American administration is that there'll be a price to access the American market. I think, every country of the world that I know of is paying a price. What I'm saying is that Canada is paying the lowest price.
But that price could be paid in jobs. The U.S. Trade Representative today making it clear this is about moving manufacturing back to America.
We really want to focus on reshoring here. We want to have production here. We don't necessarily want to be dependent on China, Canada, or anybody else for things like cars and that kind of thing.
The U.S. has 50% levies on steel and aluminum going into their country and 25% tariffs on autos. It's why the Canadian government is trying to diversify trade away from our American neighbors.
GM and Stellantis have been cutting jobs here in Canada. Well, we will look towards Koreans, we will look towards Germans, and we'll look towards Chinese investments.
While looking for other trading partners, Canada continues to work on saving the trade deal with the U.S. and Mexico.
The Canadians, I was in contact with my counterpart just this morning. He's going to come to town in a couple weeks. They have a few ideas on how they might want to have a deal with us. We're obviously open to that.
By comparison, Dominic LeBlanc's office was far less committal. In a statement, a spokesperson for the minister responsible for Canada-U.S. trade would only say LeBlanc and Greer had a number of brief, informal exchanges in recent days about a potential in-person meeting in Washington, D.C. in the near future. Mike Lukacher, CTV News, Ottawa.
The U.S. and Iran are preparing for a new round of talks aimed at diffusing growing tensions over Tehran's plans for nuclear development. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian says his country sees a favorable outlook for negotiations scheduled for tomorrow in Geneva. U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened to strike Iran if the country doesn't agree to limits on its nuclear program. Tehran's claimed those efforts have been peaceful. Iran's parliamentary speaker, meanwhile, said, quote, all options are on the table, both diplomacy and a defensive response that will make the enemy regret its attack. While officials are in Geneva, they're also set to meet with a Ukrainian delegation as Washington tries to organize a new round of trilateral talks aimed at halting Moscow's invasion. Ukraine's president says it's not clear what would have changed from previous meetings. Well, Jeff, there was a big jump in the temperature from this morning to this afternoon.
Yeah, it jumped up significantly, and then we're going to be seeing a warm day again tomorrow. Today, around 1 degree for a high in Saskatoon, but tomorrow, probably not a big jump, but around 3 degrees. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. The long and the short of it is, enjoy today. I hope you enjoy today and enjoy tomorrow, because some cold air is on the way. Yikes! All right, let's take a look and see what we've got going on. Excuse me, 0 degrees in Saskatoon and the Battlefords, minus 11 in Prince Albert. So a big drift, a big change there. So that cold front starting to sag down a little bit there. As we take a look at the almanac for Saskatoon, 1 degree, minus 15 in the overnight, minus 6 is typical for this time of year. 7 degrees is the record. That's from 1938, the record cold temperature, minus 38 from 1893. And the sun is going to go down at 6:39.
Coming up, without signed or spoken words, a look at a visual adaptation of Shakespeare's The Tempest.
morning, Saskatchewan. Regina City Council gets back to business. Mayor Chad Baczynski joins us to break down the issues facing the city. It all starts at 6.
Okay, let's take a look through the live lens of Skycam. A little wisp of sunlight on the horizon, but mostly a cloudy situation. And we've had ourselves a pretty mild day, and again, we'll have a mild Thursday as well. Things are going to start to change on Friday, but we'll talk about that in a few moments. Just keeping our eye on a couple of these systems that are coming out of BC and Alberta, sliding through Saskatchewan. Some places, particularly in northern areas, they may see a bit more in the way of substantive snow than other parts of the province, but we are certainly looking forward to, many people are looking forward to a warm tomorrow. So let's take a look at our numbers right now. 0 degrees in Saskatoon and the Battlefords, minus 11 in Prince Albert. That's a big difference between those three cities. And then as we take a look at our hotspot, that was Maple Creek earlier today at 8 degrees, minus 39. The cold spot, that was Key Lake. Around the province we go. Currently, it is 1 degree in Lloydminster and Regina, 4 in Swift Current, 2 in Moose Jaw, and minus 2 in Estevan, minus 4 in Yorkton. Into central parts of the province, temperatures ranging from a chilly minus 12 degrees in Hudson Bay up to plus 2, and that is in both Kindersley and Rosetown. A lot of locations, as you can see, at the freezing mark or the thawing mark. Minus 4 in Meadow Lake, minus 2 in Wynyard. Up north, a little on the cold side there. Minus 21 in Collins Bay, minus 17 in Stony Rapids. It does warm up to minus 12 in Buffalo Narrows. It's minus 15 or minus 16 in the other locations on this part of our map. And then as we take a look at down south, we've got ourselves 6 degrees in Maple Creek, 4 in East End and Assiniboia, 3 in Coronach and Leader. So yes, some warm temperatures in south central and southwestern Saskatchewan. It cools off a little bit as we head towards the eastern side of the province. Minus 4 in Melville, minus 2 in Carlisle and Broadview. Here's our future cast, and as you can see, that bullseye sort of slashing across Saskatchewan by tomorrow evening. That's associated with a bit more in the way of substantive snow for northern areas, a little bit of flurry activity coming through. And there may be a little something as we take a look at that little sort of a blob that's sort of showing up between Calgary and Edmonton tomorrow afternoon. Some of that may come our way. So Buffalo Narrows may see about 2 to 4 centimeters of snow, minus 8 degrees tomorrow. And then minus 14 with less snow happening for Key Lake, minus 11 in La Ronge, minus 22 in Stony Rapids. 3 on the plus side from Meadow Lake and Spiritwood. Meadow Lake, if that precipitation shows up in the morning, it'll be snow. Otherwise, likely some sort of rain-snow mix. That's what Spiritwood is expecting. 7 degrees in Kindersley, 6 in Rosetown. 11 degrees with windy conditions in Maple Creek. Windy and 8 in Swift Current. 9 degrees in Leader and 5 in Outlook. Into southeastern Saskatchewan, 1 degree in Yorkton, 5 in Regina, 4 in Estevan, and 7 in Moose Jaw. We've got ourselves 1 degree in both Melfort and Humboldt, 2 degrees in Watrous, minus 3 in Hudson Bay. Hudson Bay and Melfort might see a little flurry activity on Thursday. Minus 3 degrees with a pretty good chance of some flurries tonight, but not a lot of accumulation. A bit windy and even windier tomorrow with a high of 3 degrees. Wind gusts up around 60. Minus 15 on Friday, minus 16 on Saturday, but bouncing back to more seasonal numbers on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, but backsliding a bit on Wednesday, a high of just minus 10. For Prince Albert, light snow tonight, minus 10 degrees, warming up to 2 degrees tomorrow with cloudy skies, not particularly windy, a moderate wind there. Minus 16 on Friday and minus 19 on Saturday, but improving by 10 degrees in terms of highs on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Highs of minus 9 right in a row there. Minus 13 on Wednesday. And Saskatoon, slight chance of some flurries, rather. And then 3 degrees tomorrow. Winds out of the southwest to 20 under mainly cloudy skies. And minus 13 degrees on Friday, minus 17 on Saturday. But then warming up to more seasonal values on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And not too bad on Wednesday with a high of minus 8.
Please give me one more night. Give me one more night.
Phil Collins, Lauryn Hill, Wu-Tang Clan, Shakira, and Luther Vandross are among the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees for 2026. This year's list is the largest ever with 17 artists. 10 of them are first-time nominees. The only artist to make the list in their first year of eligibility is Pink. The returning to the ballot again are the Black Crowes and Billy Idol. Oasis is also back on the list despite singer Liam Gallagher disavowing the Hall of Fame. Good for you, Liam. What a rebel. Heavy metal band Iron Maiden is also returning for the 3rd time. You know, maybe it's time to change the name to the Pop Music Hall of Fame. Just covers more stuff as you do. Rock stars Metallica have announced plans for a Las Vegas residency at the city's iconic Sphere. Metallica confirmed today they'll play 8 nights at the Big Ball, Thursdays and Saturdays throughout the month of October. The band will play music spanning their catalog, enhanced by the venue's immersive technologies. Tickets go on sale March 6th. Taylor Swift has once again topped the Billboard Hot 100. Her song Opalite is now her 14th #1 track. She's tied with Rihanna for the 3rd most Hot 100s after the Beatles and Mariah Carey.
All right, Jeff, time for Pick of the Day. What did you choose today?
Well, we have a triple hit as always, but let's lead off with our Sundog picture of the day. Yes, it was a weekend of picture snapping for sundogs. This one comes to us from Susan. Sundog seen over Murray Lake. A lovely shot there of a sundog. Next one comes to us from Kevin Shikoski in the Humboldt area. This was shot on Tuesday morning, so yesterday morning. Kevin says, early morning trip to Humboldt from Saskatoon. The plows were not done clearing the roads quite yet. Still a lovely shot there. Nice sunrise there. And finally from Darla in the RM of Dundurn. Now, this is from last Friday. Darla writes, "Hi, Jeff. This is a picture of our Dash keeping warm by our fireplace. Perfect spot on this cold day. His sister isn't in this picture, but her name is Violet. Dash and Violet, they are the Incredibles." Lovely. All right. So thank you for that image. And yes, Dash does look real comfortable. And if you'd like to send us an image, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca. Please put pick of the day in the subject line and maybe a bit of a description. And if you're shooting with a camera phone, please shoot it on the horizontal, not the vertical.
Still to come on CTV News, we hear who is this year's champion child in Saskatchewan. Also, a special performance without spoken word. A unique twist on a Shakespearean tale is taking to the stage in Saskatchewan this week. As Damien Smith reports, the performance is without spoken or signed word.
13 actors taking to the stage to perform The Tempest, a play written by William Shakespeare, with a twist.
We have removed all of the language. There's no spoken language, there's no closed captioning, there's no sign language. We have taken all of the language of the show and turned it into physical theater, puppetry, mime, projection.
Deaf Crows Collective, which has been operating for 10 years now, says the process of developing the play took about 3 years, and they've recruited 9 new actors for this production.
When you throw in having to take Old English and translate it into American Sign Language, it doesn't necessarily always translate the best way. So we really wanted to take on that challenge.
Some actors like Fatima Nafisa have been there since the start, and she's playing the lead role of Miranda.
In our version of the show, Miranda is more mature and confident. She fights for what she wants. She's not allowing herself to be a victim.
Others are pulling double duty, both acting and directing. Mustafa Alabsi, who fled from Syria in 2016, finds parallels between himself and Prospero, trying to find themselves in the world.
Similar to Prospero, I didn't know what to do. I had a lot of learning to do. What was my future going to look like? I knew nothing.
Both are experienced actors and share the same inspiration, the famous Charlie Chaplin.
There was no sound. There was nothing in those shows. It was just physical theater and mime, and that, I just loved that so much. He was just on like a really simple stage, but then when I see that, like, you could actually perform in front of a whole audience of people looking at you, I was really nervous and kind of scared about that.
The Tempest runs at the Regina Performing Arts Center until Saturday. Deaf Crows Collective is also hoping to tour it across the country within the next year. Damien Smith, CTV News, Regina.
When we come back, why a Saskatchewan spa will be temporarily closed this spring, and later we meet a Saskatchewan child crowned a champion for others.
All right, let's take a look at our rural forecast for tomorrow. And yes, I'm working with the hand in the pocket tonight. Just the way I was standing. Anyhow, as you can see, some areas north of the Yellowhead will be getting a little bit of flurry activity. We don't expect a lot in the way of substantive snow in those areas. Further north, different story, maybe 2 to 4 centimeters, as we were saying. But look at these numbers, though. It's some of this snow, if it does fall, won't be hanging around because it's pretty warm out there, and some places are dealing with a rain-snow mix. We've got ourselves 5 degrees for a high in Outlook, 7 in Kindersley, 3 and -3 rather, though, in Hudson Bay. But then look at these numbers in southern Saskatchewan. Is anybody on the minus side? Well, not on this map. 0 degrees in Kenora, but 11 in Maple Creek, 7 in Easton and Rockland, and Coronach is at 8. But we do anticipate some windy conditions in southwestern Saskatchewan. 2 degrees tomorrow, and that's the situation for Cudworth. Winds out of the southwest at 20, so a bit of a moderate wind there with partly or mainly cloudy skies. And Cudworth is one of the places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
Well, if you had hopes to spa in southern Saskatchewan this spring, you'll have to hold off for a little bit. Temple Gardens Mineral Spa and Hotel in Moose Jaw has announced it is about to embark on a $1.76 million renovation project. The revitalizations will include new additions in the pool area, new massage rooms, more saunas both indoors and outdoors, and a fire pit area. To accommodate the work, the Mineral Pool, Sun Tree Spa, and Cafe will be closed May 31st to June 20th. Renovations are also underway, with 44 rooms complete and more scheduled to undergo updates in the coming months. Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon just over $1.21 a litre. The lowest price in town, $1.16.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco dropped $2.14, and Nutrien finished the day at $99.15. Coming up, the youngster chosen as this year's champion child in Saskatchewan. Then RCMP enlists some help for their canine constables.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with The Masked Singer. The Jim Pattison Children's Hospital has revealed this year's champion child.
Hi, my name's Ivy, and I have dermatomyositis.
Ivy, who is from Regina, spent 31 days at the hospital in April of 2024 after basic movement would cause her to scream in agony. She was diagnosed with a rare autoimmune disease that causes inflammation of her skin, muscles, and blood vessels. After receiving care here in Saskatoon, she is back at home, enjoying kindergarten and gymnastics, and is considered a bright light by many, something she intends to continue as this year's champion child, representing sick children across the province. She will do a fine job for sure.
No question about it.
All right, well, speaking of kids, the RCMP is kicking off an annual tradition, asking kids across the country to help name a few class of police dogs.
Just kids?
Yes, this is just for the children. Okay. The service says 13 German Shepherd puppies are set to be born at its training center in Alberta, and it's soliciting name ideas from kids ages 4 through 14. I think you're out of those age brackets.
Yeah, right.
A few rules apply, including that the name given must start with a B. It also can't be more than 2 syllables or more than 9 letters long. Last year's contest for the letter A saw names chosen like Ace, Argo, Ash, and August. The 13 kids whose ideas are chosen will get a special laminated photo of the puppy they named along with other prizes. The deadline for entries are March 26th, so
That's a great picture,
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the length of the Barnaby Jones is out. Darn, it's too long.
Bruno, maybe?
Yeah.
Something.
Bruno's good, yeah.
We're not allowed to enter.
Exactly.
So.
Barabbas. Bongo.
I'm sure all of those
Bologna.
are great suggestions.
Baloney the police dog. Okay, let's take a look at what we've got going on tomorrow. Temperatures are going to be warm. There's no question about that. And it's a bit breezy. Not windy, but a bit breezy. Daytime high of 3, but 2 by the time we get to 5 o'clock.
We'll take it while it lasts. All right, thanks for watching. Have a great night.